I don't like the watermelon.
Do you like watermelon?
At least for these.
I don't like cherry and grape. They're sour.
Those are the best.
Cherry and grape.
I don't like sour.
Oh, I do. I like the tart.
Cherry Jolly Ranchers are like my all-time favorite.
Or cherry light
Raspberry
flavors.
Not as good.
Oh, well, I mean, they're still on the same level. Come on.
The cherry.
Cherry. I like the red dye. It tastes so tasty. Oh, green apple's good. Are you getting that? There's no cherry left?
Cherry. Who wants to try?
Rock, paper, scissors for us. 2
Well,
out of
there's
3.
more.
Rock, paper, scissors. Rock,
Yeah, you don't
2
need
out of
to.
3. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. You're ridiculous. Thank you.
Just one
I wanted to win both.
This is a lot more.
Playing against a lot of children. I'm very good at it.
Damn, they only had one green apple.
Thank you.
Okay, let's do a quick review. So hopefully you all had some fun with this. The point of that exercise was not for you to actually build the database for Woodstock 2019 and have it fully functional. It was to show you this is the thought process. That's where you start. And for me, that's where I start for an entire application. Remember, you're here to learn about the full stack of application development. That means that in pretty much all the applications that we build and other companies build, you have to have a good database. As I've said multiple times, that's the heart of what we do as application developers. So where do I start? I start with the most fun part. I eat my dessert first, and I start with my database part. And I know in the back of my mind that, sorry, Harper's just verifying that Richmond's online. I know in the back of my mind that it's very important that I get this right, but it's also the most fun. You can sit down with a piece of paper, you can be anywhere in the world, you can be on the beach, you can be in your backyard, you can be in your living room, and just draw little boxes. It's better, it's more addictive to me than crosswords or Sudoku or anything else, because it's the same type of thing. Except instead of, oh, I finished my crossword, I'm going to put it aside and I'll go and do it again tomorrow. It's actually, okay, what are you going to do with this? I can take it to the next step and build an entire database that's going to touch thousands or even more lives. And, you know, if you're Facebook, if you're Mark Zuckerberg, millions and millions of lives. It all started with the database. So I'm trying to impart the excitement I have about databases and show you it can be fun. It doesn't have to be boring. It doesn't have to be, let me go to work and let me do this all over again. No, it's like sink your teeth into it. Be creative. Build something that other people might not have thought of building. The difference between your application and somebody else's is your creativity. So there's no right or wrong, really. That's what I'm trying to impart here. It's your application and your database can be as creative and as powerful as you want it to be. One caveat, I was walking around and I was listening to the discussions. Don't try to over-plan reality, okay? A lot of you are trying to get down to the nth detail, and it's like, when this happens, I need to relate it to this table. In reality, your database has to mirror reality if it's going to be functional. If you try to lock it down and manage every little piece, what in the real world, what's going to happen is nobody's going to enter that data. It's like, yeah, I'm not going to enter that. There's a screen for that, but I'm not going to use it. So you would have wasted a whole bunch of time in building the database table and building the middle tier and the user interface to capture something nobody is ever going to go through the trouble of entering. We're all human. We're not going to do things we're not interested in doing. Question?
In the real world, isn't it true, too, that there has to be a certain level of fluidity because you're not going to think of everything yourself, and you're not going to, you know, so there will be things that come up like, oh, crap, I didn't think about that, you know.
So Brian's asking...
Or someone will bring something in that says, I want this now.
Is it fluid? You know, should you be concerned about getting everything in your first pass? And the answer is no. Change happens. You know what I'm really trying to say there. Users don't tell you everything. Projects don't come with perfect specs, and there are always changes. One of the things that software developers, custom software developers like ourselves now realize after you do a project or two is custom software is never done, ever. Users might think it's done, but 3 years later, there's a small change in business requirements. If they actually use the application and they can change something, they're going to call you up and it's like, oh, I need to capture something else now. You create another few tables, you create another little user interface, you add on to it. We've got applications. As a matter of fact, let me scare you.
You don't think they're there?
Let me show you a real database. Could you turn that on for me? A real database. And if you go on and you work with us at Sightsource, one of the first projects is going to be to rewrite this database. I'm not going to get into the details because it's a real client database as of like a year ago. It's a backup restore. It's been in existence for 18 years. This is one of the first projects I ever built. It is horrible, okay? I'm going to show you. Here's what you don't do. So this is the future Ali looking back. It's like, I didn't know what I was doing. Now, question.
Do you have to sign privacy contracts? Like, what do you have to do when you handle...
This guy is actually a good friend of mine.
The answer is
Thank
no.
goodness. So this guy is like, if it's an NDA, like a real corporate, yeah, this is a small private company. So it's like, okay, there's a different relationship here.
Right.
But for, yes, absolutely. I could not show you, there are lots of databases I can't even open for you because it has private information in it, it has client name stuff information, it would be completely inappropriate.
Right.
This one's different because, number one, you're not going to be able to tell which company it is. You're not going to know where they are in the world. They're not local in Winston-Salem.
I turn it on manually. I did too. It's the top.
And we're having technical difficulties here in Winston-Salem about turning on televisions. So,
Strong IT people.
yeah. It's not a good indicator of technical success.
There we go.
Okay. We've succeeded in turning on the televisions. Let's write some SQL. I'm not going to get into the details, but I want to show you because if you're curious about what does a real database look like, it's not that different from what you're doing. You know, you can look at these things. There are some things in here, and I'm only showing you this to give you an idea of what. Let's do inventory. Oh, I probably got it really small so nobody can see it anyway.
No, it's just on the license.
Struggle.
I don't know if it's on the right channel, but
I have
Is
no
there an
idea what to
input?
do with it. There's an input button, but shouldn't it already be on whatever it should be on?
Maybe someone came in here and watched movies.
I can start pushing random buttons.
Keep messing stuff up.
There you go.
Is that any better?
Well, there's no HDMI. Are you connected?
Oh.
No, you're not. Are you? Oh,
Yeah.
you are.
Yeah.
Is the other end connected?
Yeah. Sorry, we're having technical difficulties, Richmond. We'll be back in just a second. Let's take a look at where the end of that cable is.
Does Colin usually do this?
It's down inside. I think it's connected to the modem, which is in the block. Yeah.
See if it's jiggled loose or something.
Is this Colin's job?
Input on see if it's,
It seems to think that nothing else is moving.
nothing's connected. Yeah, it's probably just a loose cable now.
It seems to be connected fine here.
Up. Okay. Well, nobody can actually see my screen here in Winston-Salem, so Richmond, you all are actually better off than Winston-Salem at the moment.
Yeah, we got it back.
Okay. Well, except for 4 people in Winston-Salem.
Did you do the input thing on your laptop? Maybe that helps.
Let's switch it.
Is there a way that we can look at the live feed on our?
There certainly is, but the problem with that is the limited internet, and if you stream to 20 people, nobody's going to be able to see anything. It'll choke the feed. So let's see what we can do without presenting.
There you go. Well, no.
What if we just jiggle it a little? There we go.
Well,
Does that thing have a reset button?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Richmond. Harper, if you want to review the exercise with Richmond, just verbally, and I'll text you in a minute and let you know once we got our televisions working.